Friday, almost 7 a.m. Eastern. This video is going to be a combination of trading the daily levels, which are posted in Discord after Globex opens the previous evening, and US sessions levels, which are not part of the membership. This is the course I teach. So let's keep those two separate. These levels I post. We have an indicator that would plot them on the chart for you. The way to trade this is any test of this midpoint, the midline. This line is very, very important. In a US sessions course, I teach how to arrive, how to identify this very important midline for the US session, not for Globex. For now, here's the basic approach. This is crude oil, right? So any test of this midline, you start targeting this level above, right? This is the target. As price starts arriving at this level, I already begin to tighten up. I'm going to get my stop, and I'm going to be trailing it pretty close because more often than not, there are reactions from these levels once they are achieved. We're kind of seeing it here in the YM. The YM already arrived at the level, and I missed that trade. But here is the bounce that's occurring once this level is reached. I am in the Russell. You see the Russell testing this midline, closing up. I'm looking at the, actually I'm going to take a long here in the NASDAQ. So NASDAQ, again, here is the test of this mid. Again, these levels I post in Discord, so this is after 6 p.m. Eastern, is when I post these levels. This indicator just plots them on your chart. The way I suggest most people trade it is simply by taking a scalp. I always say grow your account by taking a number of profitable trades, and then you must have a reasonable daily goal, and that's the best way of approaching it. I try to hold trades, but I recommend most traders do not hold trades. So I'm also in gold. I just took a long on the gold after a test of the midline and a bar closing up. Where is my stop? Well, if this pivot is broken, so price would have to go below the midline. So once price is below the midline, I no longer want to be long. So that's the idea. If price breaks this pivot, I am flat. We saw earlier there was another, I missed this trade, but there was another test of the midline, and there was the nice move higher. I anticipate the same to happen now. The ES broke below the midline, so I would want it to come back and test it before deciding anything. And yeah, just going to let this play out. So here is already 12 points in the NASDAQ. As I said, if you take your scalps, these levels are very accurate. And you can be done before the US session even starts. But if you can't, or if you want to learn levels for the US session, how to arrive at these levels, that's what I teach in the course. But I just want to make it clear. The $60 a month membership does include these levels. It does not include the US levels course. So it looks like I'm going to be taking a stop perhaps on my gold. I am watching it. Bounces are expected from completion of levels. This is the YM, completing the level and bouncing up. Alright, so I needed to take a stop in gold. As you see, gold did indeed cross below the midline. So now I no longer want to be long. If anything, I want to see if there is a test of the midline from underneath and the failure for a possible short. In any case, crude is doing nicely here, and now I can start trailing it pretty close as it's slowly arriving at this target. These targets often have reactions. You can see the NASDAQ is doing really well. I guess I can put my stop here. Could have just taken a profit. Of course, there's nothing wrong with this profit, but I'm going to try and give it some room. There is plenty of room to the upside. Not much is happening in the Russell, so it is what it is. So this is the basic approach to trading the daily levels. You just, at least for me, I just look for a play around this midline. That's, to me, it's the best setup because my risk is fairly limited, right? If I'm long and price crosses below, well, I no longer want to be long and my risk is limited. The potential is quite significant unless you just want to take a scalp, which is what I recommend anyway. Right, so this is the total from early morning trading. So I had, I think, 4 trades altogether. According to commissions, yes, I had 4 trades altogether. One of them was a losing trade. You saw gold was a losing trade. Then the Russell, the Nasdaq, and crude did well. So again, I recommend you take quick scalps. All these markets, even gold, gave you a scalp before turning around, but that's what's possible pretty much every morning. This morning was not exceptional in any way. So what I'm going to start doing next, closer to 9:30, maybe even before 9:30, is I'm going to start trading the US levels method, which the way to trade it is very similar to the daily levels midline. There is also a midline, there is also a buy and a sell level in a US method, but that one I can teach. This I cannot because of everything that it entails. The US method I can teach, and I'm going to be trading that next. Alright, so now we're starting with US levels. So this is what I teach. Alright, so again, the daily levels, those for Globex and beyond, I do not teach, but these US levels I do teach. It's a lot more straightforward. There is really no complexity. I can teach this probably under an hour for most people. I can offer support if additional support is needed. We do have a live room for people who took this course twice a week for support. The way to trade it is exactly the same as the daily levels, right below the mid. Here is your target. Here is crude below the mid. Here is your target. When target is achieved, right, just like with the daily levels, when target is achieved, there is a reaction. A reaction is expected from completion. I'm not saying a reversal. Now, a reversal would be a trip back to the midpoint, which could happen, happens plenty of times, but it's not necessary. A reaction is likely always, and we did see a quick reaction in crude. Now, what am I waiting for? Well, as you can see already, this is the Russell. Here is the midline here, already well into the trade. I missed most of it, well, pretty much all of it. So I'm just going to wait now. I'm going to be patient. There is still plenty of time, and I'm going to be patient. What I want to see is another test of this midline. This midline is very important every morning in every instrument. Unless there is a news event that blows the price away, price will come back to retest these prices at the midline. So while I missed gold and crude, I'm still kind of hoping to see a test of the mid. We had it earlier in the Nasdaq. Of course, we had it earlier in the S&P. But at this point now, I'm going to be patient and wait for the midline to be retested. All right, so the first opportunity that arises here is that gold is retesting the sell level from underneath. Now, this setup is more aggressive than the midline. I always prefer the midline. However, this is a legitimate setup if it occurs. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for price to come and test this level here, slightly higher than what price is right now. So you see gold is testing this sell level now. So now it's important. Now I gotta be patient and wait. If they fail here, if there is a reversal bar from here, then they could attempt or exceed this low. So it all depends what's going to happen now at this level. 8 out of 10 times, by the way, traders who take the course learn this. When price breaks through a level, it would still retest it from underneath at some point during the session. But you see how I cannot simply jump on a short. I have to be patient. I have to let them prove to me that this sell level is going to hold on a test from underneath, because the fact is, if they firm here, they could take it all the way to the midline, right? So I cannot just go short here. I gotta be patient and I gotta wait. All right, I think gold is good. I think gold indeed is failing here, so I'm gonna take a short. My stop would be if the bars closes above this sell level. That would be my stop. Alright, so the YM arrives at the level and reacts. You see, it's the same thing across all markets. The hitting of the target, the retracement, Here is gold. Our gold is doing well now. With the Nasdaq again, so frustrating. I just stopped short. We'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. But here is gold. So gold should be at least attempting over here. And again, I encourage our traders to simply take whatever profit you can. I'm trying to hold, but try, and take whatever profit you can, whatever your trading plan says your daily goal is. And as long as it's a reasonable goal, there are plenty of opportunities just from gold alone, other markets as well, of course, but gold alone is going to give you enough to hit your reasonable daily target. Here goes gold. As I said, if they fail here and they needed a confirmation, they would attempt this and possibly lower. Now I can put my stop. Now I can put a trailing stop because they are attempting this low. They could bounce from here. Normally, however, they would even go lower than this. So this is the power of knowing where these levels are. And I can teach pretty much anyone with even limited trading experience how to identify these levels. And once you know it, you have knowledge. And knowledge is the first step. It's not the only step, but it's the first step to success. There is more to trading than just knowledge, for sure. Trading is a lot more than simply knowing stuff. However, there is no way to advance without it. Alright, and here is the break of the low. So I am following really close now. This is the break of this low. This was anticipated. As I said, if this fails, so first I had to make sure that indeed it fails when it looked like it was, took a short, and now we are breaking this low. Gold continues to break, and I am just keep on trailing it tight now. A bounce is almost anticipated. Those who took the course know why I wanted to be short here, even though the target was already achieved. There is a reason for that. We go over that. I just needed to see a test from underneath, which happens 8 out of 10 times, and then the big sell-off. And here it is, more than $20. That's $2,000 per contract move. Amazing stuff, really. Alright, what a way to finish up the week. So here is my computer clock, rhythmic clock, and the account used today. This is a combination. This total is a combination of the daily levels trading during Globex and of course the amazing gold sell-off. So it all started in gold, as it does with every other market, with the midline. Here is a test of the midline from below. This is the decision point. This is a critical price for every market, every day, this midline. And from here, they tried it, they failed, and the result was this. So quite amazing. No, I obviously I did not catch the full move. I don't need to catch the full move. You don't need to catch the full move. What you need to be aware of this midline, and if you would like to learn how to arrive at this midline, how to identify it every morning along with the targets, give me an email. We'll talk. Thank you all. Enjoy your weekend.